It's Julia. I have a new series on my channel that I'm going to try out this year. I don't know how long it's going to last, but yeah, I want to do something a little bit different. So at least one Monday a month, I want to make it a Mintay Monday. I've collected some of the Mintay papers and such and haven't really done anything with them. So my goal is to use them a little bit more. And by that, I mean at least once a month. Sometimes it could be 2 times a month or maybe more. I just don't know where I'm at with this yet. I don't have a huge collection of Mintay. I've got probably 4 or 5 envelopes with Mintay products in it. And like with this one is Cozy Evening, and I have 2 sheets of paper. That's it. Just the 2 sheets, but I have enough here to create a layout and probably multiple cards, but my goal right now is a layout. So let me start off with this and show you where the inspiration is coming in. I have these photos of my granddaughter, and they're very bright, very bold, awesome colors in there, but they don't really match here. But this has a wonderful weathered wood look to it, and she's like hanging over like a weathered wood decking. That's how I connected them. Don't ask me how that makes sense in my head, but it did. This is the cut apart piece of paper that I'm going to use as inspiration. I think I'm going to cut like a strip of paper somewhere out of here, whether it's this way or whether it's this way, I don't know yet, to act as a embellishment, if you will, and maybe make a letter L design, if you will, either with the pictures here and the paper going across here, or maybe the pictures here and another piece of paper going this way. And I can use the back side of this as well with all those beautiful frames. But I'm leaning more towards using this, even though this to me with the pumpkins has a bit of a fall flair to it. I'm not quite ready for that yet. I mean, I know I won't use this one. So in order to get this together, I needed to pull in some additional paper, right? So I pulled in a couple of pieces of dark cardstock, and this is close to my heart. You can see one side's a little bit lighter than the other. So I have a little bit of variation going on here. And if I tuck this in behind here, like that, I think you can get the feel of where I'm going. Maybe not 100%. And I might get some off-white or something and border my photos. I haven't made up my mind yet. I could very well use some of this background paper to border my photos. There is, with the dark color in here, it gives that dark feel here. There's some dark elements in here, not a ton of them, but I feel like it'll work. And this green has almost a grayish feel to it. None of that reflects in the photo with the exception of the sky, and there's some dark in my granddaughter's hair and in the wood. I'm moving right along with this, y'all, but this is where my mind is going. This is kind of my thought process when I pull this together. I know I'm going to need an alphabet to create a title, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. There is tons of a very blushy pink, and so I went into my stash and I found this alphabet set. It is my mind's eye, and it's from their Lush line from years ago, 2010. I've used the heck out of it, but I still have some letters, and I'm still able to generate some titles. So I pulled this in to go with the blush pink that's in this background. So that's what I have for my title. So then I'm going to need some embellishments, right? There's a lot of floral elements in here, but I don't want to go super pinky, blushy color. So what I thought I would do, I went through my green, my blue, and my white color bins, and I pulled out some fabric flowers. And you can see I have some darker ones and I have some lighter ones. I have ones that have a more blue tint to them. I have ones that have a more green tint, some that have an almost yellowish feel. These are white with the yellow center. There's some crochet flowers here. That blue has a beautiful green on the inside that just matches the background photos. But in all of these embellishments here, in all of these cut aparts, there's different combinations of colors and textures and feels. And so that's why I brought all of this in. Whether I'll use all of these, I don't know. I may use one. We'll see. And of course, if I'm going to have flowers, I need to have something in the middle of the flowers. So I brought in my white color button jar. It's just an old jar. I don't even remember what originally came in it, but I saved it and put my white buttons in it. And if I'm going to have buttons, I have to have something to go in the center, right? Because that's me. I have to lace my buttons, if you will, and so, or string my buttons. And so I pulled in this color right here to do that because it matched some of the flowers. If it doesn't feel right as I'm going along, I always have this one with a more greenish feel, lighter grayish greenish feel, and that matches. This suits these backgrounds perfectly. So we'll see. If neither of these work, then I have a white or a cream color that might work. And so I'll figure something out as far as twine goes. I'm also going to need some leaves for the flowers, right? Everyone needs leaves for the flowers. So I pulled in some leaf dies. Now these are, I can fussy cut, these are cutouts, and I can fussy cut another piece of paper to go behind if I want to. So I pulled in my green scrap bin. These are just my smaller scraps, and so I pulled that in to use. And then, because you have all these little viney pieces coming out, I thought, why not pull in a die with some viney pieces? So I pulled this in. Now, this I think originally started off as a Christmas die, but yeah, it's not going to work for that this go around. I'm going to use it to create some viney pieces in behind the flowers, in, around, and behind. And yeah. And then, if that's not enough, I also pulled in this white cream color for just some additional embellishments if I wanted to cut any leaf shapes or viney shapes out of this color as opposed to this color. I just figured I needed a mixture. And then I thought I'm going to need some finishing touches, so I pulled in some bling. I have 2 sets of flat back pearls, gray and pink. And then I have these 3 from Want to Scrap. They're called dewdrops. And so I have pink, that's an almost grayish tone, and then a greenish tone. So I have 3 different sets there. I felt like I might needs to use some of this Seafoam Heidi Swap Color Shine. I feel like this color goes perfectly. And then just in case I needed any additional embellishments, I pulled in my random bits from my green color bin. And I have all sorts of things in here. There's flowers, there's journal spots. When you get farther down, there's stickers, more stickers. There's all sorts of pieces that have been punched or stamped, or I made those bows. Maybe something will work. There's some photo corners in here. There's something that's stamped there. I have all sorts of embellishments in here that I might need to sort through to find something that will work. Maybe. But this is where I'm starting with my layout. So it all started off with 2 sheets of Mintay paper. So let me get rolling and start this process and see where I land. am done with my Mintay layout. I started with the 2 sheets of paper and then the 2 pieces of cardstock, and this is what I have left. I used nearly an entire piece of the cardstock. Those are the cutoffs from the background paper, and these are the cutoffs from the cut-aparts. I was going to cut this deer out, fussy cut it out, and use it down here, but then I thought, no, a little too fall-ish. I only used a sliver, I think a 4-inch piece of this one, and so to give this card or this photo lift, I used some foam adhesive. One of my goals this year is to try and use more of the foam adhesive rather than the, oh, what do you call this stuff? The Scotch? Is it Scotch brand? Anywho, so that's the goal there. Flowers, I used a ton of what I pulled in with some little pops of dark. I used some of the crochet flowers. I used some of the white, some of the green, some of the blue, some of the teal, some of the yellowish. Leaves, I fussy cut, or not fussy cut, I did fussy cut. I die cut out a ton of leaves and these flourish pieces with different color cardstocks and pattern papers. And then I used them, I tucked them and sorted them, and I think I showed on the video how even though I had cut out pieces like this shape, I fussy cut them into other shapes to tuck in and around. Some of the pieces that I had that were this oval type shape, the true leaf shape, I just cut them in half, cut this portion off, and then used, tucked in a little bit here and there. I did use my buttons, and I did use this green color twine to thread the buttons. Let's see, I used all of the dewdrop enamel dots as well as the flat back pearls that I pulled in, and I just dusted those throughout. I pulled in, I have this bin or this bowl of little leftover pieces from a crop that I went to last fall, and I just can't bear to get rid of any of it, and so I've been picking and pulling from there, and so I pulled in a couple of flowers from there, and this sentiment here, this is one of a kind. For the title, I tried everything to make these my mind's eye lush alphabets work, but I did not have a T, and so I wanted to create the word beauty, and so I could not make that work, so I pulled in a die. So I pulled this in. It's not super big, which I love that. It's not a whole lot different than, it's a bit smaller than the font that I had originally pulled, and I punched out the title, Summer Beauty, and then I took my white pen, I don't know if I can get up here close enough for you to tell, where I went on each one, each letter, and put a little flourish on there. Then I took a little tag from my embellishment bin here, my leftover bin, and put the location and the date. And so I have a few little bits and pieces of leftovers in here, but I used scraps. I used the white, the cream color to go behind the photos from my scrap bag here. I used these colors for the flourishes as well as a couple of the leaves. This, I pulled in some of this blush color pink to create my title, and this of course I used to create my leaves. So I feel like I'm accomplished there in using some older product as far as scraps go, and using my dies, especially my letter dies. I haven't used those in years, and so that felt really good, and using these dies felt terrific as well. And then this twine, gosh, y'all, I can't remember. I think I might have used some of it at Christmas time, but maybe not. But yeah, just to be able to get some of that used up makes me feel terrific. I will get some photos of this and post them at the end of the video. If you're interested, you can stick around and watch for those. But anyway, this is Mintay Monday, and I am done. I appreciate you guys being here. If you like this process today, I would love it if you would flip me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys on the next video. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.